Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Space Cowboy here. Welcome back to the channel. Now today we're talking about Jerry Jones's comments on Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb and the whole who he believes will be the better number one wide receiver out of the two. So before we get started with today's video, if you can help me out and like the video, it doesn't take too long to do and it ensures that the video performs better in YouTube's algorithm. So if you could make sure to hit the like button, that'd be awesome. Also, if you're new and are a part of that 77% of people that are not subscribed but keep coming back, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on new content when it drops. But with all that out of the way, Jerry Jones, okay, he goes to Clarence Hill Jr., who is a Dallas Cowboys reporter, and he went on to talk about how he believes that CeeDee Lamb will be an upgrade over Amari Cooper as the team's number one receiver. Okay, so to give you the Cliff Notes version of it, Jones told the Star Telegram that CeeDee Lamb will be an upgrade over Cooper as a true number one receiver in the Cowboys offense. Jones said he wasn't trying to slight Cooper, whom the team traded in March in part because his production didn't match his $20 million price tag, which I'm going to get into in just a moment. But Jones acknowledged Cooper had his issues and that Lamb has the makings of a more complete number one wide receiver in production in the huddle and off the field. Now, for those that kind of don't understand the politics of the room, and if you weren't following how things were going, how they took a receiver in the first round in CeeDee Lamb, and look, we've had these discussions, and I figured that someone was going to slip up and say something like this. Now, I'm not trying to sit here and say that Jerry Jones is wrong, but I don't like it when my front office comes out and says these types of things. It feels like you are slighting a player, right? When you go out and say, I believe this player is better because he doesn't have these off-the-field stuff, he's going to be better in like that kind of thing. I don't like it when someone does that. It's just very unprofessional. That's just my personal opinion, right? So, Amari Cooper pretty much was on the clock when it came to his time in Dallas when they drafted CeeDee Lamb. Because you look at how the Cowboys like to do business. They really like their drafted guys over the guys that are free agents, traded, etc. Now, I understand that there will be people that will say, yeah, Amari didn't play well last year and all this other stuff. Well, I would argue this, that the Dallas Cowboys were shifting away from Amari Cooper. He wasn't getting as many targets. And if you want to blame the quarterback, that's your thing. But realistically, it is your offensive coordinator and your coaching staff's job to scheme that and make sure that you are getting your guy the ball. That's what other teams do. And I felt the Cowboys were not doing that. I felt that they were trying to do this more, let's just spread it out a bit, but also let's not throw him the ball. Because if you're not aware, Amari Cooper had his own personal reservations on getting vaccinated, and I'm not here to talk about whether that's right or not. That's his personal decision, but the Joneses did not take that lightly, so that was another factor for why they let him go, and also how Amari didn't like how Kellen Moore was calling certain plays and stuff like that. That's another thing too. And it's not that Amari's wrong, because we saw it in the film. We saw it on the field. Yes, you need to do better when calling certain plays. And that's the problem with the Cowboys organization. They have that overhanging view with the Joneses where they see what happens and they're the ones that ultimately dictate how things go. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This is a known fact, because you could go watch how the season went where you had literally two types of Cowboys offenses, and it's just unbelievable that, listen, this front office can't stop getting in the way of things. So that part out of the way, do I think CeeDee Lamb's an upgrade over Amari Cooper? Well, I think CeeDee Lamb has a higher ceiling than Amari Cooper, and, he showed last year in glimpses of what he can be. And the New England game is the best game that CeeDee Lamb has had as a pro, and I think that that was a, hey, this is going to be your future guy. Now, I do think that he's going to have a fantastic season next year. I believe that with Michael Gallup out, with some of the rookies and other guys also kind of just rotating, he's going to be the number one option. And the big thing for the Cowboys, and I said this in my one video, they have to pay him as soon as he's eligible, which I believe is next year. It's usually after 3 years you can negotiate, because you're going to end up having to pay your guys. And, Trevon Diggs is coming up as he's in the same draft class, and because he's not a first-round pick, you can't afford to do the fifth-year option. But that doesn't matter. If you feel like he's your guy, you sign him long-term. He's the next 88 in the lineage of 88s. He, as, Roger Staubach had Drew Pearson, as Michael Irvin and Troy Aikman were a thing, Tony Romo and Dez Bryant. And now you got Dak and CeeDee. The cycle repeats itself, and I think that if I was CeeDee Lamb, it's one thing to take that compliment, but another thing too is that as you try to hype up CeeDee Lamb and he has a great season, the price tag goes up, and we just saw how the market reset for wide receivers. And if you believe that CeeDee Lamb is that guy, you got to pay him. Amari, I kind of feel bad about, because I think that he didn't want to leave ultimately. I think he loved it here in Dallas. It's just the front office, and again, if you want to complain about how much money Amari was making, blame the front office. They waited till the last minute to pay the guy. They could have paid him as soon as they wanted to, which honestly, that's what they should have done. They should have paid him as soon as he was, as soon as you kind of had something in place. But that's something the front office likes to do. They like to wait, and then, they just cut the next guy, and they don't even care. It just feels like they're trying to play salary cap management over that. But with all that out of the way, I think that CeeDee Lamb will be just fine. I think that he will be the number one wide receiver that we're hoping for. And there's just this weird talking point that people think that CeeDee Lamb is not actually a number one wide receiver, which I think is ridiculous, because I think it was a mix of things, primarily. Hey, you had the offense just sputter because apparently you didn't want to give your playmakers the ball, but it's not like CeeDee Lamb didn't show it last year. It's not like he had a situation where it was like, okay, he didn't have 100 yards. He had, he had games where it was like, oh, this guy is legit, and we know that. Receivers, they do improve in year 3. So I'm really hoping that that's the case. But I don't want to go on forever. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.